Hi Glamour, I am Dove Cameron, and today I'm going to be breaking down some of my iconic looks from film and television. Okay, Liv and Maddie from 2013 to 2017. I wore obviously a lot of clothing because I played both roles. And wardrobe was a very important part of the show because it differentiated the girls as much as the different wigs did. Oh, spoiler, I wore wigs throughout the whole show. Maddie's in her chucks and jeans and like a little tank top and little button up. Liv is in her just above the knee skirt and button up and little tiny belt and always in heels. I think that like a big differentiation between the girls was that Liv was basically always in heels, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. Like a high school student just like every day in these like massive platforms.
Hello, sparkly red wedge number 26.
But that was actually a funny thing that I saw online for years was they're like, no, of course they're not played by the same girl. They're totally different heights. I always thought that was so funny. Maddie always had these little M earrings in, and Liv had these little L's. And I actually, I think I just stole these. But I have the little Maddie earrings. My favorite outfit of Maddie's ever was in this episode where they have to go clean the brother's room and like the sock like is like alive, which is still so stupid, it makes me laugh. And she wore like gray sweats, lime green and blue hoodie with pigtails. And it was the first time that Disney Channel had ever let Maddie have her hair like not in a ponytail or straight down. And we were so excited. Me and the producers were like, this is a new era. And then they watched it back and they were like, never again. And then of Liv, I think it's in the finale, she wears this like multicolored backless, I think, like rainbow little tea dress. I feel like it was like Ted Baker maybe. And we got away with it only because it was the finale. And I was like, please, let me wear this like kind of beautiful, more sophisticated dress. It was like, you know, it was like pushing the limit for Disney. But I remember thinking it was just the most beautiful thing at the time. Barely Lethal. So this was a movie that I did with Haley Steinfeld back in 2015, which feels like crazy to say. I shot this one in Georgia, and it was my first like feature film that I did. Yeah, costuming was very important on this one, and it was just fun because these were like, we were playing very real, normal people, and it was one of the first times that I had done something that felt not so heightened, you know? I'd come from such like a heightened world with Disney and the theater in my background and music. And Liz Larson, the character that I played, was a very like normal person. And I remember being so excited to wear like jeans and a t-shirt. One fun thing is that I wore some of my own clothes in that. And there's a scene where she's wearing my grandfather's red flannel, and it is the Wallace family plaid. I wear it for like a good amount of the film with like a loose pair of jeans. And I remember telling my granddad about that and he was really stoked about that. Descendants, this one's fun. The costuming in this franchise, I would say, is like almost like another lead character. And our costumer, Karasan, is a genius. I think what people don't know about the costumes in Descendants is that they are so like one of a kind and couture that the stuff that you're seeing us wear, there was only one of. These jewels and things like that, like they're being pressed on 2 minutes before we go on set, and we're dancing in 115-degree heat outside and jewels are flying off. There's a dress in Descendants 3 when, spoiler if you haven't seen it, Mal gets proposed to.
Will you marry me?
It's like canvas, like it was like, I want to say the dress was like 30 pounds maybe of like heavy canvas. And it doesn't look like it, but it was hand painted, this like dragon, this kind of like abstract dragon on it. And then also this pair of pants that I had that were doubles for my regular hero pants that had to be painted. You would stay an hour or 2 hours later if it was painted on you, because then they would have to repaint it on your body and it would have to dry. This is Maleficent's magic ring. Don't look too closely because it's like really not, this is literally glue. But for our purposes, it was great because if we're dancing and it flies off, you know, we had like 5. And then this is Mal's dance version. You can see because it had to be pinned to my wig. This is her version when she's dancing in the finale of Descendants 3, I believe, when she becomes queen. Blinged out. Hairspray Live! This is one of my all-time favorite projects in terms of costuming. They did such a brilliant job at this. So many of the things that Mary found were real vintage pieces, and it was amazing. I've never wanted to keep clothes more. Amber's clothes specifically were so beautiful because they were that kind of like very princessified, you know, late 50s, early 60s silhouettes. My favorite look of Amber's is barely seen. It's when she goes into the record shop to confront Link, essentially. And it's like this little yellow or orange number. It's got like little pants. It was the only time she's ever in pants, and she's wearing these little like capri pants that were very like proper. And it was just so adorable. All of them were amazing. The little like blue dress that she wears for Mama, I'm a Big Girl Now, beautiful. Mama, I'm a big girl now. Dumplin'. I got to play a pageant girl, and the pageant world is something that I have no context of. You know, there's this number that you hardly see, but we spent so much time on it, where we're all wearing this like very Texan, patriotic red, white, and blue outfit with like a cowboy hat, like these tiny, tiny little like almost like comedically small cowboy hats, and doing this choreographed number in the background of a scene. I also really feel like these feel like real people in a real small town who like really do this. Like that was something that I think was highly important to her. And so you see them go from obviously these like very distinctly pageant looks to when they're doing the dance routine, like they're just in their shoes and their sports bras. Yeah, I love it. Clueless is definitely a standout for me in terms of wardrobe. Wearing Cher's iconic look was unbelievable, a dream come true. I've never had so much yellow plaid in my life. And it was also wild because the clothing not only was obviously handmade and made for us and so specific to the movie and to the style and to the character, but also had to be practical. Cher is off stage probably a solid 45 seconds throughout the whole show. And so the costumes had to be tear away and like Velcro, but to the most insane degree. The costume changes were literally full costume changes in like 9 seconds. They were very heavy. Actually, what I will say was that they were unbelievably heavy, and I lost about 10 pounds in sweat every night. But yeah, so fun, unbelievably fun. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This was a fun one because I think that this is sort of like my dream wardrobe. When I saw what I was gonna be wearing for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think I might have cried from joy. Ruby Hale's look with these shoulder pads and like the extreme waist, like she's snatched, but in like a full-blown like bulletproof fighting suit. What more could you ask for? Combat boots and a weapon? What? Come on, dude. Insane. And I think what's also really iconic about Ruby was her like blunt platinum blonde hair that is quite severe, and that really aided the character. Kill those two. This one's mine. Also, it has always been my dream to play a character that had a thigh strap with a knife in it. Like that is like something that I've like written in my journal to manifest. Doing action sequences in these kinds of like suits is really difficult. I won't lie, because they're so thick. Like they add like about 8 pounds. They're unbelievably difficult to move in. Schmigadoon 2021. Schmigadoon is probably my all-time favorite like foray into like iconic costuming and period pieces. The looks were brought to life by Tish Monahan, who I love, and all of these looks were made from scratch. Barry, our director, his vision come to life was just executed so brilliantly. We had endless tests down to like the exact shade of lipstick and the exact like centimeters of where, how to best emphasize the ample cleavage, and like every woman that you see on camera besides Cecily is wearing a corset. And we would all walk around being like, can someone undo my corset? You know, I think that Betsy's character in general, they wanted her to be so voluptuous, so womanly, but then at the same time, very untouched. But I'm
I'm gonna wait till I'm upright.
Kind of like docile, you know, the iconic pigtails that like are a telltale sign of like youth and femininity and innocence, and then like these I mean, my chestal region was a whole other character in this show, and we just kept amping it up. We were like, more cleavage. It was so funny. And we were like, lower lines. Thank you, Glamour. It has been so fun revisiting some of these iconic looks with you, and I will see you next time.